There we go. Apologize. Zoom is doing some silly things this morning. So for this session, we have Robin Hebert and Trinity Walsh both come to us from the Council of Post-Secondary Education. Robin is serves under the K-12 policies and programs, and she also works with dual credit program, Summer Bridge, and Kentucky's P20 Council, as well as the Commonwealth Education Continuum. Trinity comes to us also from CP, as I mentioned, where she has served as a school counselor. She's award-winning counselor as the 2018 School Counselor of the Year, as well as the Counseling Service Award winner for the Kentucky Association of College Admissions in 2019. So again, welcome, ladies, and I will turn this session over to you, and we should be recording and good to go.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Hello, everyone, and thank you for choosing our session on dual credit and early awareness. It's been a great day so far here at the P3 EdCamp. Trinity and I are really grateful to be able to share a little bit more about dual credit this morning, especially to address one of the concerns raised by a lot of our stakeholder feedback, and that is the topic of early communication and awareness. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Go. So the research is really clear that when students earn college credit in high school, there are so many benefits that they can enjoy for the students and also for their entire communities. I know that sounds kind of strange, how a community could benefit from dual credit, but let me just break this down a little bit for you. You know, students and their families can save a lot of money because dual credit courses in Kentucky are offered at a discounted tuition rate, and we also have Kentucky's dual credit scholarship and the dual credit work ready scholarship that covers a lot of the coursework. So students can prepare well for their college coursework and potentially graduate early or at least on time because of dual credit. So we know that for students, there are lots and lots of benefits, but local communities can also benefit because the local workforce area needs can be addressed through recruitment into high need areas. And so Trinity will talk more about this later on, but dual credit is a way for a community to really go after expanding their workforce in certain high need areas, such as advanced manufacturing, education, and healthcare. And we know that these are areas where we need more and more Kentuckians who are well prepared. So one really important component of Kentucky's successful dual credit system is alignment and collaboration. It takes all of us working together to make the system work well and for us to be able to have the benefits that the system can provide. So just to level set a little bit, I want to review the definition of dual credit that you can see here on the screen. But basically, a dual credit course is when a student earns high school credit and college credit simultaneously. And it doesn't really matter where the course is taught or how it's delivered, whether it's virtually or in person. But the idea is that a student is going to receive both high school and college credit at the same time. So I want to just give a little bit of background about some of the stakeholder feedback that we have conducted, and it's a very extensive amount of feedback from students and families and local partners. And from them, we know that early and frequent communication are keys for a successful local system. We know that students who take advantage of dual credit are better positioned for post-secondary and career success. Local communities have a huge investment in that. But we also know that not all students and families are well positioned to even take advantage of dual credit courses. Stakeholders have told us that we really need to find ways to let students and their families know about this amazing opportunity in time for them to plan for and prepare to take advantage of it. So here's a little example. Because dual credit requires a student to be enrolled as a college student, many institutions have a grade point average requirement. So if a high school student gets to be a junior or a senior, decides they want to take dual credit, but they don't have the required 2.5 or 3.0, whatever it is for that institution, then they may not be eligible to actually take the course that they want to take. So they're ready to do that. They want to do that, but they have some barriers in the way that if they had known earlier about that, they might be more eligible. So it just makes sense for us to think about how we can let them know and prepare for this opportunity so that they can choose it when it comes their way. And this is especially true for opening up access to the many underrepresented students that we're trying so hard to include. So in October of last year, the Community College Research Center released a new report called Introducing DEEP, a research-based framework for broadening the benefits of dual enrollment. And this report is linked in the session material. So if you want to dig into it a little bit deeper later on, it's there. But it's authored by John Fink and Davis Jenkins. And it provides an emerging approach to dual enrollment where community colleges partner with middle and high schools to motivate and prepare underserved students to pursue post-secondary degrees and credentials in a field of interest after high school. And they do this by reaching out early to underserved students and their families to encourage them to participate in dual enrollment or dual credit, aligning dual credit course offerings to their bachelor's degrees and their career and technical associate degree programs in these high demand, high opportunity fields. They do it also by supporting every student with career and academic exploration, with high quality advising and planning. And then finally, by delivering high quality instruction that helps the students build their confidence as a college learner and feel worthy of college pursuits. So the diagram that you see here on the slide illustrates how the DEEP approach begins with outreach to underserved students in grades 6 through 8, so that they are informed and ready for the dual credit when it becomes available in grades 9 through 12. And ultimately, this dual credit experience opens up access. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen, it opens up access to baccalaureate majors at four-year institutions, kind of the traditional college route, but also it opens up access to community college associate programs and degree programs that are also aligned to these advanced majors. And it also opens up workforce credential programs that are aligned to high demand and high wage careers, which is what we want these students to have access to. And all of this begins with effective communication and preparation in middle school. So our session today is focused on early communication and preparation. And you'll find out how you can work with IHEs and high schools to build a strong dual credit highway for all of your students. So at this time, I'm happy to turn things over to Trinity Walsh. She's my CPE colleague and friend, and she's going to take us through some of the best ideas and resources that can help you get started with onboarding students as early as middle school. Trinity, I think you're on mute.
Let's try this again. All right, thank you so much. One of my favorite sayings is start with the end in mind. And so as we consider how to frame college and career learning in the early years, one of the best things that we can do for our students and families is approach our conversations and our course planning with that ideology. So what is the end and how is it shaped? Ultimately, what we do for our students, what are their interests and what are the needs of our region? And once we have analyzed this, it shapes our course offerings at all of the education levels within our district. So additionally, I would encourage the middle school folks to start with what is currently being offered at the high school level that could potentially be expanded and offered at the middle school level, possibly for high school credit if you're not already doing that. And when students can experience these courses earlier, it leads to better pathway completion and outcomes and future dual credit opportunities. Everyone's required to complete their ILPs, but there are methods where students can dig in a little deeper. And I'm going to show you a few of these free tools today that can help you with that process and help guide conversations of early post-secondary coursework. I really like the idea of field trips and exploratory options beyond the classroom as well. And so one of the things that I think is really helpful is, we all know students listen to students. And so having current dual credit students maybe talk to middle school students about their experiences and what that looks like might start that thought process for them. And meeting kids where they are. How can you leverage social media to encourage students and families in understanding the dual credit process? So consider that. As Todd said, I'm a counselor by trade, so I'm very interested in exploration for students, and this is a key component in helping students plan and ultimately take dual credit courses when they are eligible. So wherever you live in the state, that also might shape your experience and the courses you want to offer your early students and middle school students. But one way you can help your district on this journey and help your students is through several great websites, which are a part of KY Stats. So if you're not familiar with KY Stats, I would encourage you to become familiar with them because they have a lot of great resources and tools. So the first tool that I'm going to show you is the Kentucky Students Right to Know website. It has a breadth and wealth of information, and I'm going to just give you a quick glance of this website, but these links will be in our resources so you can go back and play around with them. So this is a free website built part of Kentucky Stats. So as we're looking at this, there's a lot of information, but I'm going to just show you really quickly. If I was a student and I was thinking about going into elementary education, I could choose this. And on this page, it is going to give me some options of how much money these folks make, what are the public institutions that offer this major, what does that look like? And then you can see how much it's going to cost you to go there. So this is a great place to start with your students when considering what their future interests are and that career exploration. The second thing that I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to show you all of these today, but the second one I am going to show you is the Career Explorer website. So when you go to that website, it's a little bit, I think a little bit more friendly on the eyes when you get to it really quickly. But, students can explore careers by different ways. So if I want to do it by major, I can click here. And if I'm a student who's already knows that I'm interested in education, it's got this search tool and I can type in education and I can apply the search and it can give me some options. That is not the option that I wanted it to give me. Hang on. Okay, I want to do education general, and then it will give me some options and I can click there and it will give me some ways to explore more about that career. So those are two options that I think are good places to start with those elementary and middle school students on thinking about what they want to do in the future, which will hopefully lead to further exploration and advanced coursework. Another resource that I would like for you to look at, especially if you're an elementary or middle school principal, that maybe it's not an area of this place that you look at often, but in your Kentucky School Report Card, if you look at the advanced coursework area, you're going to see what that looks like in your school and district for dual credit opportunities. So it's probably not something that you look at often because it's probably not overly applicable to you, but it really is. It's something that you can start looking at. You can start seeing where there are underrepresented student populations, maybe in your school or district. And when you notice those gaps, what at the middle school level can you be doing to elevate the work that is happening at the high school so that you can be a good partner there. When you complete an audit of the participation of these programs, it's going to take some time and effort. So I'm not acting like this is like the easiest thing to do, but I would encourage you to create a team at the middle school, including school counselors or advisors, teachers, students, and parents, or maybe some other folks who serve in an advisory role to help you with this process. And if your high school has an early post-secondary opportunities team, ask them if you can be a part of that team at the high school level. Because again, for Robin and I, collaboration is one of the biggest things that we find to be important in student success. Through our investigation of dual credit over the last several years, one of the items that keeps coming back to us in regards to communication efforts is that students and families tell us that they don't know that these options are available, or sometimes even students who graduate tell us they didn't even know they were enrolled in a dual credit course. So start the education and communication on dual credit options early, middle school level. I know that in my children's school district, they have dual credit options as early as 9th grade. So even though, they're not in 9th grade yet, preparing students for what's possible in the later grades might shape their academic choices as they enter 7th or 8th grade to move into that 9th grade year. Again, big belief in collaboration, and it's truly the key to most successes. So with that being said, look around at local schools and other school districts in the state and see what they're doing. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So if you have a great idea or plan for elementary, middle school, early post-secondary education success, please share that with other folks, and you can even share it with us, and we would love to feature and talk to you a little bit more about what you're doing. And as we are here in January, we're starting to enter that scheduling season. So if the folks who work with students on scheduling at the elementary and middle school levels aren't as knowledgeable regarding early post-secondary opportunities, take some time to ask those people at the high school level, can they educate you? Can they help you on this? Don't be afraid to reach out to your local area colleges. I know that we oftentimes get in the mindset of like, that's the high school's job to talk to the colleges, but the college folks, we talk to them all the time. They would love to talk to the younger kids because they also know that the earlier that they talk to those students, the more positive effects it has on the end. So feel free to reach out to your local area colleges if you are in elementary or middle school and have them connect with you and your students. They will gladly help you. And as well, find out if your high school or college people have some online resources or flyers that you can share with your students. Again, it's all about early access and letting people know earlier. We're really lucky in Kentucky that we have folks who are very invested in higher education and find ways to use lottery funding to award scholarships and tuition grants. Everything from CAP programming to National Guard tuition program to dual credit and work ready scholarships. So these scholarships, the dual credit and work ready, are funded by the Kentucky legislature. Each Kentucky high school student receives 2 dual credit scholarships for courses in each of their junior and senior years. And then they can earn CTE work ready scholarships each year in high school, grades 9 through 12. These scholarships and the tuition for these courses is based on half of the KCTCS tuition rate for the year. So it changes a little bit from year to year. Each of these post-secondary institutions in our state has to opt in. And once they have opted in, students can use their coursework scholarships. So as well as receive this reduced tuition rate. So if they choose to take courses beyond their 2 scholarships, they can still take those courses at a reduced rate. So as I keep mentioning about collaboration and partnerships, this is where some folks have really created something special. Opportunities for students to take more dual credit outside of those scholarships because local area businesses and organizations are also investing in this type of education to help defer some of these costs, whether it's for tuition or books or supplies. So I would encourage you to get creative and see what's out there when it comes to financing these types of opportunities. So as you can see, Kia's investment in these dual credit scholarship programs is growing year after year. Students are taking advantage of this opportunity, and ultimately, we're hopeful that this financial investment will lead to academic and economic growth. And just recently, on January the 4th, a report came out that said that Kentucky had the highest growth in college going for this past school year. So we know that we are on the right track when it comes to students pursuing higher education. So the National Alliance on Concurrent Enrollment Programs, NACEP for short, has clear evidence that students who are enrolled in dual credit programs enroll in college and persist at high rates. Additionally, this allows students to start acclimating to college work, study, and have those study skills and college level independence with a bit of a safety net with us there to help them as they go through this process. And as I wrap up this section today, I want to encourage you to visit our early post-secondary opportunities toolkit. It has a wealth of resources, including state and national research on this topic. So I'm going to show you that here in just one second. So if we go to our toolkit, this is what it looks like. There's lots of resources here. So I would encourage you to look at things like the policy and research, and there's lots of information there, either from CPE or national research about dual credit and early post-secondary opportunities, as well as lots of professional development opportunities. So we've got our upcoming webinars that are available with those resources. So if you have not signed up for our webinar series, I would encourage you to do so. It happens the second Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. And we understand how busy you are. So each webinar is brief and it lasts approximately 30 to 40 minutes. And if you've missed any of our webinars, they are on our toolkit and you can go back to them and watch those previous webinars and have all of the resources there. All right. And finally, please stay connected with us on social media and our website and through our newsletter. So we have lots of information there. Robin and I are always here to help you and to collaborate with you and talk things through with you. So as somebody who might be in an elementary or middle school field, and this is not really something you dive into a ton, this might be but something that you're interested in, please feel free to email us and reach out to us. We're always available. I know that a lot of times you might come up with a good question tomorrow or the next day, and we're here. So please reach out to us, follow us, and connect with us, because we are your resource and we're happy to help you in any way, shape, or form. Alrighty. So at this time, if anybody has any questions or comments, or Robin, if there's anything you want to add, please feel free to do so.
So feel free to unmute and ask questions, or you can enter something in the chat if you like.
I did go ahead and drop the link again to the episode toolkit, because it definitely is a resource you'll want to check out. There are even some pre-created communication resources that you can use either to post on social media, to send to your parents and families by email, or to print to hand out at face-to-face, times when your families are there. So you're welcome to download those and use them. There are resources that explain, here's what dual credit is in layman's terms, and here's what AP is. So I want to make sure that you all have access to that toolkit.
And Betsy, I see that you had a question about the link to the presentation, and I will put that in on our page for this session with the other resources. I just wanted to do it after we were done presenting.
There'll be additional, you can go to the link. So one, both Trinity and Robin's contact information are located in each of the breakout session, each of the breakout sessions on the master schedule for the EdCamp. But then there will also be a recording posted from this session, as well as any additional resources such as the presentation. Any other questions at the moment?
There is one last thing I wanted to mention, Todd, and that is we, from our stakeholders, we hear a lot about support needed through advising and counseling for students, and how we know that school counselors are very taxed in terms of time and just their bandwidth for all the things they're required to do. And so CPE has invested a lot of effort and resources into advising for college and career, because some of our school counselors don't even have a lot of experience or training in that area. So inside the toolkit, if you click on the advising and support tab, there is another toolkit there that is specifically for school counselors, and it has a ton of resources also just about advising for college and career. So you get 2 toolkits for the price of 1 on that.
All right, well, we'll wrap up. We'll stop recording. Thank you, Robin and Trinity, for your presentation today. Great information, both sessions, and a lot of information for our schools and offering opportunities for Kentucky students.